Hello, I'm Larry from Methane Incorporated, Councilman, Mayor. I'm here to sell you the idea of garbage power. You may or may not know, methane is a very stable molecule with very low melting and boiling points. These points set up at around negative 200 degrees Celsius. This is due to the high strength of the hydrogen bonds in the molecule. This is also due to the fact there are no functional groups, magnetic moments, or polar distributions in the molecule. This makes it very hard to break down or dissolve. Did some lab studies. We found that it took over 200 degrees Celsius to break down the methane into a usable fuel source for mixing it with other gases. In order to decrease this temperature, we need to introduce a catalyst. A catalyst is best used in a two-step process.
Whoa. What exactly is this? What is it called? A catalyst, you called it? What is that? What does it do?
A catalyst is something that lowers the initial reaction temperature required in order for the reaction to proceed. So, say the temperature needs 1,000 degrees Celsius in order to activate, proceed, get the final product. A catalyst would lower that to, say, 800 degrees Celsius, so it's more easier to obtain. Where was I here? Right. So, introducing a catalyst is most effective when using a two-step process. The two-step process will include taking the methane, introducing another gas, another molecule, and introducing a catalyst to create a whole different set of molecules. And those are taken to get a final usable product, such as a fuel to use in your vehicles, such as ethanol, methanol, all that jazz. Sorry, I'm just not very good at speeches. What was I? Right, so this two-step yields much more usable fuel than just a one-step process. And this is all easily obtainable at about 500 degrees Celsius, which may not seem easy, but it is easily more reproducible than 2000. You may be thinking, wireless temperature. It must take a lot of energy to get all this temperature. And you're right, it does. And there's another process to get these fuels as well. There is a low temperature, which can be done around 130 degrees Celsius. These would take a whole different type of catalysts and reaction methods. We can take H2SO4 and magnesium to get the fuels from the reaction at around 35 bar, which is 32-ish times the pressure of Earth's atmosphere. But there's a problem with this as well. The H2SO4 needs to be in a high concentration solution or gas, depends on the initial conditions, to work. And in the end result, you get some of that back, but it's in a very low concentration. It's just recycling and reusing that H2SO4 is the hardest part of that process. And if you just don't care for catalysts at all, there's a final method. You could take the methane by itself, filter out all the dust, all the other gases, condense it, cool it, and use that to run vehicles, such as natural gas fueled vehicles, which take a special engine, but in the end it's probably a lot more cheaper than just processing the whole thing. Allow me to demonstrate. Garbage starts off in a landfill. Garbage is placed underground with a cap on top. The methane from the decomposing organic materials, such as wood, garbage, organic materials, anything organic, right, moves up into the cap, is also drawn up with fans. Then gets piped to a processing plant. It then gets synthesized into fuels with catalysts, or is just condensed down into a liquid natural gas phase. From the plant, it then moves to your natural gas vehicle refueling station, or the ethanols get moved to a gas station for consumer usage. In these states, they can also be moved with trucks, so it's very, very easy to transport after it's been processed and everything. And in the end, you get one happy camper. That is how I think this will save the world.
What would the benefits be to our community and the environment if we invested in this project?
Burning methane fuels benefits community and the environment in multiple ways. For the environment, methane fuel emissions spend only 12 years in the environment in comparison to gasoline emissions, which can spend up to over 100 years in the atmosphere. Gasoline fuels produce 90% more pollution than methane fuels, so CO2 being released and other pollutants. Bringing the plant in and the methane collection system would bring in jobs to the community. This would relieve pressure from outside sources of fuel. You could fuel your own city service vehicles with methane. This would make your city more fuel independent. And personally, I think the best pro about this is it keeps methane out of the atmosphere, which is much more harmful to the greenhouse effect than just regular CO2.
All positives aside, what are the harmful effects?
It would be harmful to the environment and the community. It is expensive. The initial cost of a processing plant is up to $15 million to convert methane into fuels. It is still explosive, but no more explosive than regular gasoline. Take the same precautions, you should be fine. It does still pollute. Its pollution is 25% more potent than regular gasoline, but keep in mind that it releases 90% less emissions than regular gasoline, and is in the environment for 10 times less. I have nothing left to say. Councilman, Mayor, if you have any further questions, just feel free to call me, maybe.
All right, well, thank you for your time. I think we'll take a few days maybe, vote on it, and we'll get back to you. What did you guys think of that whole thing? Do you think this is something we should look into, or like what do you guys think about this?
I would like to see it in action.
Field trip!